Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to the voice of the times this Thursday, March 10, 2022. For today's editorial, Abolish the NEA, or replace its corrupt personnel. The National Electrification Administration, or NEA, is mandated to ensure electricity service throughout the country. And as part of that mandate, it is supposed to supervise and assist electric cooperatives, or ECs, that do the yeoman's share of the work in realizing the overall objective of 100% electrification. That is not happening with the NEA in its current state. The agency has become an instrument of oppression for the ECs and, as a consequence, the millions of consumers who rely on them, to what end no one really knows, but many presume is the eventual extinction of consumer-owned cooperatives and complete privatization of the Philippines' electricity sector. The NEA's efforts have become so aggressive and single-minded that it has even defied Congress's directive to curb its overreach. On September 21, 2021, the House of Representatives passed House Resolution 213, directing the NEA to comply with the agency's Memo 2017035, which established that the authority to appoint or terminate EC's general managers lies with their boards of directors. What provoked the House resolution was the issuance of another memo by the NEA, Memo 2021055, which transferred that authority from the EC boards to the NEA. In spite of the House resolution having some teeth, because Congress holds power over NEAs and its parent, the Department of Energy's budgets, the NEA completely ignored it, and then followed through with its disapproved revised rules by attempting a comic opera takeover of the Benguet Electric Cooperative, or BENECO, last October. The intended takeover of BENECO is apparently what led to the amended rule in the first place. In April 2021, BENECO's board approved the appointment of engineer Melchor Licoben as general manager, a move that was subsequently formally endorsed by the Benguet Provincial Board and the League of Municipalities of the Philippines, or LMP, Benguet Chapter, and supported by BENECO's legislative caretaker, ACT-CIS partyless representative Eric Go Yap. The NEA board, however, for reasons that were never clearly explained, declared Licoben ineligible and instead appointed Presidential Communications Operations Office, or PCOO, Assistant Secretary Ana Marie Rafael as general manager, despite the latter's having no evident qualifications to manage an electric distribution utility. A months-long impasse between the NEA and BENECO came to a head in October, when, after the NEA issued an order suspending most of BENECO's board, Rafael and other NEA personnel, reinforced by the Cordillera Regional Police Office, staged a midnight raid of BENECO's headquarters in Baguio and seized control of the facility. That led to a mob of BENECO employees and customers retaking the headquarters and driving the NEA interlopers out a day or two later. But the NEA has persisted. Last week, Rafael took her oath as the new general manager and has carried on the pretense of being in charge, despite being unwelcomed and actively resisted by anyone who has any actual business with the cooperative. The controversy involving BENECO is not an isolated incident, according to people connected with the Philippine Rural Electric Cooperatives Association, or PhilReCA. In a statement issued in conjunction with an online protest, PhilReCA accused the administration of using the NEA to seize ECs for the benefit of competing commercial interests, citing a similar situation involving a threat of privatization against the Palawan Electric Cooperative, or PALECO, from the Office of the President. The irony is that the NEA may be serving its current dubious role because it has otherwise outlived its original purpose. The vast majority of ECs in the country are financially stable and performing adequately. There are exceptions, of course, but they are relatively few. Idle hands are the devil's playthings, so the old saying goes, and the NEA, as it is now, certainly seems to be an example of that. There's never a good time for this kind of bad behavior, but it is especially unwelcome now when the country's energy security is more at risk than ever. If the NEA cannot be reformed and compelled to carry out its original progressive mandate, then it should be abolished. Its existence as it is now is doing the country and ordinary energy consumers more harm than good. And that's editorial for Thursday, March 10, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to our digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and listen to The Voice of the Times.